In our first question for this week, we are asked to differentiate the following, and there'll be a second function as well, but differentiate it with respect to x. Now, first of all, I want to point out that if you need to differentiate a function, there could be a few different variations on the wording of the question. Here it says differentiate, so we know we need to differentiate. It also says with respect to x, so that tells you that x is the variable that you're differentiating. Or if you think of it as dy dx, that's got the x on the bottom. It might say find the derivative. So there's different kinds of words that are used to mean the same thing. This function hasn't been called y or f of x. So for us to indicate that we're differentiating, we need to put that down on paper in some way. What I mean is you can't just write equals and then go ahead and differentiate, because the two expressions simply won't be equal. So one way to get around it is to write d dx of whatever we had. And that indicates that we're finding the derivative. Now it's not really in the right form that I want, or not in the easiest form to differentiate. If I realise that these can be expressed with x as negative powers, and I rewrite them in that form, it makes it a lot easier to differentiate. And that's what I've done on this line. 6x to the negative 4 minus 2x to the negative 3. Now I can differentiate. Negative 4 times 6 is negative 24, and subtract 1 from the power. Negative 3 times negative 2 is plus 6, and subtract 1 from the power. So once I have differentiated, I no longer put the d dx in front. Now I can't simplify it, but I can improve the way in which it's written, because it's best to express it back in the form that the question was given. So I'll go back to the form with positive powers, and I will leave it like that. And here's question B, a different function which we need to differentiate. So again, I need to use my notation to show what I'm doing. I write the d dx in front because that says that I'm going to differentiate it. Now, how to tackle this when it's in fraction form? Because there's only one term on the bottom, we can divide that into each term in the top. So d dx, 8x cubed divided by 2x is 4x squared. 5x squared over 2x is 5 over 2x. And 2x over 2x is positive 1. So you simplify the fraction, and you can do it like that because there's only one term on the bottom. If there was more than one, we would need to look at another method. Now differentiate 8x minus 5 over 2, and that's what we are left with.